I wanted to do a video on Mosin Nagant bolt disassembly, and I also wanted to show you how to check firing pin protrusion using the field gauge that comes with the gun. But despite all the random kits I have laying around, I seem to have misplaced it, so I'm going to have to do the best I can with what I've got. I've got a K31 bolt here. The reason I have this bolt out, I wanted to comment just a little bit on the Mosin Nagant bolt design. It's, as you'll see when we get it apart, it's really complicated in the big sense of things. It just doesn't make sense to me how such a simple gun could have such a complicated bolt design. And also, all throughout this bolt design, if you look at all the machining and everything that they did, like here's a good spot to look at. See all these like nasty machining marks? It's just sloppy work. But if you look at a K31 bolt, I mean, everything is made like precision. There's no burrs, there's no, random crap, there's nothing. It's just, it's built, really well. So that's basically what this video is going to be about, is disassembling the bolt and getting it back together and all that good stuff. To start off, to take this thing apart, you have to imagine kind of how it goes in the gun. Obviously, when you chamber around, this whole assembly pops down when you've chambered around, and that's how how it's going to look. Well, if you look, you'll see that the firing pin protrudes out of the front of the bolt face. The gauge that you're going to use is the field gauge that comes with it, and it's going to have a no-go and a go. Basically, well, you can have not enough protrusion, but the problem you're looking to check is excessive protrusion, because you don't want to puncture a primer and have all that gas pop back in your face. Unfortunately, I don't have the gauge here right now, but I'm going to show you how to take this bolt apart. The way that I just did right there, just hold it in your hand, pull back on this just a little bit, rotate it. This comes right off. Okay, this rotates apart just like this. Set these to the side. Okay, now this is where you're gonna need a block of wood like I've got right here. Best thing to do, I mean, everybody does it different, but I take it in my left hand and I just push down. What you're doing is you're compressing the spring that's in the bolt, and this bad boy just threads right off, or screws off. Okay, now don't let go of this or it'll pop back. You just let the pressure off, and then you'll see your springs in there. You got your ginormous firing pin that this thing has. Like I said, the design of this bolt is incredibly complicated, considering that the Russians produce millions of these rifles. I mean, anyway. Alright, so going back together, exact opposite, okay? Back like this. Compress the spring. Now, you'll notice that on the back of every single Mosin Nagant bolt, there's a slot cut. That slot is there for a reason. What they do is they get it set the way it needs to be to have proper firing pin protrusion. And then what they do is they mark the bolt with that slot to show the proper way to put it back together. Okay? And that's basically all it is. If you'll notice, it's generally in line with the scratch that they've put on the back of the bolt. It's kind of a rough way to do it, but it worked for them, and that's what they, had been doing for years. And every Mosin Nagant's going to have that slot cut on the back, and that's only for firing pin protrusion. That has nothing to do with headspace or any other factor. You'll notice there's a little ridge right there. You just want to line it up with that slot here on the bolt face, and then that goes back together. Then you're going to need to bring this piece back over as before. Basically, it's the exact reverse of putting it together, or taking it apart rather. Now, here's where the way Mosin Nagants are made is kind of weird, because you see that these ridges here need to line up with this piece. So you almost have to kind of like torque the damn thing to get it together. You kind of have to play with it. See how I did that? I just kind of finagled it together. You'll notice that you can kind of turn the firing pin. See, look at the back. See, as I turn it, how it comes out of line, like that. Well, you're kind of just turning it and finagling it to get it together. You kind of have to play with it. And see how I rotated this into that little slot? Alright, and once you get that all together, you just hold everything, pull that back up till you hear a click. You've got that's in there. Make sure that's all right together. Make sure none of this is going to fall apart. And you'll see that the line across the back is generally straight, you know, with the firing pin. And there you have it. That's it.